There's a very specific moment when people decide they don't have to listen to you anymore. It doesn't happen loudly. No one announces it. No one makes a conscious decision and says it out loud. But something shifts. And if you've ever felt like people suddenly start talking over you, interrupting you more easily, or only half listening when you speak, you've already experienced it. What makes it dangerous is that most people don't recognize the moment it happens. They only notice the outcome. They notice being ignored. They notice being overlooked. They notice their presence starting to feel optional. But by the time you feel it, it's already been decided. Because social dynamics don't form over long periods of time. They form in very small moments. Moments that look insignificant on the surface. Moments most people don't even register. But those moments set the tone for everything that follows. The moment people realize they can ignore you is the moment you show them there's no consequence for doing it. And this usually happens in a very specific situation. You're speaking. You're mid-sentence. And someone cuts across you. Not aggressively, not even intentionally sometimes. They just start talking. And for a split second, you have a choice. You can continue, or you can stop. Most people stop. They pause. They let the other person take over. They assume they'll come back to what they were saying. They assume the interruption was temporary. But something else is happening underneath that moment. Something people don't consciously think about, but instantly register. When you stop speaking, when you give up your space that easily, you communicate something very specific. You communicate that your voice doesn't need to be maintained, that your position in the interaction isn't fixed, that it can be taken, and you won't reinforce it. And people respond to that immediately, not consciously, not maliciously, just efficiently. Because in any social interaction, people are constantly, quietly assessing one thing: who holds their ground and who gives it up. And once you've shown that you give it up, even once, it changes how people treat you moving forward. They interrupt you more easily. They feel less need to wait for you to finish. They don't check if you were done speaking. They don't return the space to you. Not because they're trying to disrespect you, but because your behavior told them. They don't have to prioritize you. This is where most people misunderstand what's happening. They think, these people are rude. They don't respect me. They just talk over everyone. But if you watch closely, you'll notice something different. Those same people don't interrupt everyone. They pick who they can interrupt. And that decision isn't random. It's based on what's already been demonstrated. Think back to a moment where you were interrupted. You were speaking, and someone started talking. What did you do next? Did you continue your sentence? Or did you stop? That moment, that exact moment, is where the shift happens. Because when you stop, you remove any friction. You make it easy for the interruption to succeed. And when something is easy, people repeat it. Not because they've analyzed you, not because they've labeled you as someone to ignore, but because your behavior created a pattern. And people follow patterns. From that point on, your voice becomes easier to overlook. Your contributions become easier to skip past. Your presence becomes easier to deprioritize. And the more it happens, the more it reinforces itself. You get interrupted again, and now you hesitate slightly faster. You pull back slightly sooner. You become slightly more passive. And people pick up on that too. So the behavior compounds. Quietly, gradually, until eventually, you're no longer part of the center of the interaction. You're orbiting it. And this is why it feels confusing when it happens. because there's no clear event you can point to. No obvious moment where everything changed. But there was a moment. It was just subtle. Social dynamics are built on micro behaviors, small signals, tiny adjustments, not big confrontations, just moments where someone tests the space and sees what happens. And when nothing happens, that becomes the rule. So the next time you notice yourself being overlooked, don't just look at what's happening now. Look back. Find the moment where your space was taken and not reinforced, because that's where it started. Being ignored isn't random, it's learned. And the moment it was learned was quieter than you realized. If this made you think a little differently, feel free to like the video. And if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to subscribe. See you in the next one.